What's up, everyone? I'm Cynthia for the best women's boxing show, period. As you can see, I got the great Mikaela Mayer on. I'm so excited to talk to you finally. It's been a while. I think the last time I spoke with you, you were attending a fight, and I was, of course, not being the journalist that I was, but I was. What happened to the Tasha Jonas fight? And now we're here. You're not fighting her. There's no rematch. You're fighting Sandy Ryan. But before we get to Sandy Ryan, what happened? Why not Natasha Jonas?
Listen, I held off for a while. The Jonas fight was January, and the reason I'm not fighting until September is because we were holding off to try and make that rematch happen. There was a point where I even got on the FaceTime call with Jonas and my manager just to make sure we were on the same page, because I was being told one thing, she was being told another by her promoter. And basically it came down to Boxer couldn't secure a date for us. They mentioned June, then we were possibly in July, then possibly August, and then it just got to the point where like I had to move on. I had to look in other directions. Unfortunate, because I think that's, it's hard when you get two fighters that want the rematch and they can't make it happen. The audience is there, people wanted to see it. The two fighters are on board. Even money was even agreed on. I even took a pay cut just to make the fight happen. We still couldn't get a date. So it's completely on Boxer, unfortunately.
Oh, well, I wish I knew what was going on with that, because it's weird, because Jonas is at the tail end of her career. Like, she's already alluding to that she's going to retire. And after the fight, that it was such an, I mean, a lot of people know that they thought you won, and the scores were interesting. But coming from a loss like that, because you had the loss with Alicia, but everyone was 50-50. But for this fight, so many people thought you won. How were you able to bounce back? Because that's like, you go in that dark hole of a loss that, you shouldn't have.
It's been a tough couple years, right? But I think I've done a pretty good job at staying positive, and I've continued to work and just believe that the stars will align for me. And I think that even though I didn't get the decision against Jonas, I still made a statement, and the people know that I won, and I let it be known that I'm a threat to the welterweight division. So, I didn't lose a belt. I didn't have a belt at the welterweight division. So it still made me a top contender for the other other fighters. And like, I built my name to a point where even though I'm coming off a loss against Jonas, I'm still a profitable fight for someone like Sandy Ryan and other champions.
No,
so,
it's true. It's true.
Yeah. And that maybe that's just what the stamp I'll make in boxing, because right now we have this thing going on that like you lose your O and it's completely it, and you're kind of looked down on, and people think like you're on your way out and all that. And I'm just here to prove it that's not the case. I may have not been very lucky the past couple of years, but I'm still 100% confident. I feel better than ever. Seriously, like I really am feeling like I'm in my prime. I'm finally settled into that welterweight division. I'm feeling stronger than ever. So I'm just happy that we got this fight with Sandy, because I think I'm worthy of this fight. Like, I still believe I'm worthy of being in these top world championship title fights.
No, I completely agree, because even like you said, when the stars align, you are getting some really big fights. Like, there's some big names that you are fighting, and if they're not big names, they're still at the level of where you should be of getting those fights, because you are very a deserving a person to be in contention mode, especially being a former unified champion. Okay, now let's get to it. As you can see, I'm at the Canelo Berlanga media room, and your name has been talked. Sandy Ryan, we're like, what is happening because of all this drama? I remember when we chatted, because you were getting, I've always said you got that thickalicious. You were eating pizza. You were eating, we were at Fontainebleau. I will never forget. You're like, I'm trying to make this welterweight weight.
Yeah.
And Sandy Ryan, she says that you were never on her radar because she's always been welterweight. And then I remember saying, oh, I thought you and Sandy were training together because of Coach K. You can totally talk about it. You don't have to talk about it, but you're now you're training at Top Rank. So Coach K is no more, and it's all Sandy Ryan. That's hers.
Yeah, no, I decided that I wasn't going to train alongside my future opponent. I wasn't okay with that. I wasn't okay with my corner, Coach K, the guy in my corner, working alongside and helping her, which he did for the Harper fight. He was in her corner, even though he told me he wasn't going to be. So there was no transparency there, which also pissed me off. And, at the end of the day, he has the right to do what he wants as a coach, and it's his career, but he made that decision and I made this decision. I made the decision to walk away, and they can say whatever they want that, I think now she's saying, oh, I'm training with Flick. But that wasn't the case. No, now maybe you're training with Flick because Kay wants to step aside because he can't he doesn't want to look like the bad guy in the corner going against me and Coach Al after all this time, but he's been working with her, and I saw it with my own eyes in her corner against Harper. So I just made the decision for myself to walk away and look another direction, because at this stage in my career, I need to have a corner that I 100% trusted. And even though I wasn't on Sandy's radar, which I don't necessarily believe, because I spoke to her and I'm like, Sandy, like I called her and I was like, what is the deal? Like, what made you think this was a good idea coming over here? And I'm like, she's like, I don't think we're going to fight. I'm like, we're going to fight. Like, I'm the welterweight now and I'm coming for you. I didn't get the decision against Jonas. So now you just rose to the top of my hit list. Like, everyone with a belt, you guys are on my hit list. We are going to fight. And I have the pedigree, I have the team, I have the status to make that fight happen, and I'm gonna make it happen. It's gonna happen. So, and I'm not gonna be trained alongside of you and doing all that. That's not me. And I said, we can make a lot of money together. Like, I should be on your radar. If I wasn't on your radar last year, I'm on your radar now. I should be on your radar if you're looking for the top fights. It is what it is, but I'm always thinking 2 steps ahead. Obviously, I want the best, biggest fights possible. And when I was coming to 147, every girl who had a belt, they were the ones I was going for.
I mean, at least, what? Great for us, because you're going to be stateside in New York. I mean, we love the UK. They adore, they really embrace women's boxing. And that fight easily could have happened there. Matchroom could have put the fight on because of her, Sandy Ryan's with Matchroom. So, and you fought in the UK. But what brought the fight here? Did Top Rank say, hey, let's get this fight?
I don't know. So we sent Sandy the original offer we sent her, she turned down. No counter offer, no willingness to negotiate or anything.
How long ago was that?
It was a no. When I tweeted, okay, so it was maybe like a month or so before she accepted the second. The first offer came like a month and a half, something like that. Not too far away, like a month or 2 away. She said no. And then we were looking at the Jonas rematch again, but Boxer couldn't secure a date. And so Top Rank ended up sending them another offer. And I don't know if it was the fact that we were going to be main event in Madison Square Garden that, nudged her to finally want to take it, or what, or if Matchroom would just like go do it, because we all know she's not really she doesn't know really how to sell a fight. So maybe Matchroom was just like, okay, like, let's just pawn you off on Top Rank because you don't really help us at all anyway. I mean, she's posted like twice about this whole thing. And she's like, oh, I'm not a shit talker. You don't have to talk shit to promote the fight. Like, it's just so weird. So maybe just Matchroom was like, hey, we don't want to pay for her to not do anything in return. And they sent her over to Top Rank. And it's an ideal situation for me. I'm like, sweet. Checks every box I could possibly want. And I could use a little break at this point. I'd love to fight back in America, back with my Top Rank family. And not to say that it's going to be any easier. You can get a bad decision anywhere on any stage. So I know that 100%, especially from my experiences the last couple of years. So I'm not taking anything for granted. I'm going to 100% go in there and fight like, I'm in her hometown. But it is nice to be back with my Top Rank family in the US.
It's interesting. I watched both interviews with you guys from different outlets. And the one thing, and I know about you, and when you told me about Sandy Ryan, because the whole drama, and I was wondering, I'm like, I wonder what she's going to do, because I remember Coach Al said, you should stick with Coach K. And then the next thing I see at Top Rank, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Okay, I now know that she made a decision.
Yeah.
Did you go to Coach Al was like, come on, like, this isn't right, bro. Like, come on.
I've always held Coach Al at a high regard. I respect him enough to take whatever he tells me, seriously and try and make it work. And so when he told me to stick with Coach K, I understood why. He knows that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And there's not a whole lot of options for me to go elsewhere. But he knew with Coach K, at least he had some control over my training. He had a communication with Coach K. He knew I was getting the one-on-one attention that I needed. And so he didn't want me to leave. But when he saw him in Sandy's corner, after he told him he wasn't going to do that, and that's when, and I kind of came to him again, like, listen, I'm just not feeling good about this. And for other reasons in camp too, certain things he was throwing me to, train with Flick and stuff, and I can't stand Flick. So I was like, no, I just need to be like looked after more. And he finally said, okay. And he knows Kofi. He had a relationship with Kofi because he's worked with him back in the day with David Reed. And Kofi was at DLX, so I knew him. I'd seen him a few times, and I basically just asked, or I had True, the owner of DLX, ask him if he would be interested in working with any new athletes. And he said, only high level. He has that Ghana accent. He goes, only high level. Like,
you and your accents, I love it.
So we agreed to try it out. And originally I was like, we just try it out a few sessions because you never really know. Like, I'm not going to jump ship for something that's not going to work. Like, I have to be very careful at this stage in my career. You know, it's like, I can't just mess around, and I don't like that. I've always had the same team my whole career. So this is a big thing for me to do.
Do you feel that you might be a mirror image of Sandy because of the way he's trained you for so long, and then the way he knows every move that you can possibly make because he's trained you, that he's taught her that?
No, because ultimately Coach Al raised me as a fighter.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Coach K was always there. He's been in every corner since the Olympics. He obviously knows me, but Coach Al is the one who really built me as a fighter. And, you know, I don't know how on board K is with Sandy right now. According to Sandy's latest interview, Flick is training her. And what has Flick ever done? So I don't really know how well she's being trained right now. I mean, I don't really care. At the end of the day, I know all the workouts that they do. I know exactly what they're all doing, but I'm not worried about how I feel. I'm better than ever, and I'm learning. I have Kofi now on my team who's teaching me all new things, and I really feel like I'm just adding to my game. Still have Coach Al, still have The Rock. For me, I think she kind of got herself in a sticky situation because she was her coach of 10 years to come all the way here to the U.S., and now she's a t-shirt boy Flick. So
yeah, because she said she made it known. She's like, I don't know where she got this idea that I stole her coach because Flick has always been my trainer, like
that's
regardless.
the story they're coming up with now. But I called Sandy when she first came over here. I called her. I said, we need to talk. I'm back. Because she sent me this message saying, oh, she thought I beat Jonas and she's really sorry. She's like, I didn't realize that I was stepping in your territory until I got here. She knew what she was doing. So she was apologizing to me. So she can't go back on it now because she literally reached out to apologize to me. And I called her and said, we got to talk. And I said, you know, Kay said he wasn't training you. Kay said he's not going to your fight. She goes, well, if he's not going to my fight, I need to know now. She was fully on board that Kay was training her. But now to they're trying to keep the peace and make me look crazy. They're trying to say, oh, Flick's my coach. But Kay and Flick are a team. Okay, I'm not going to be made out to look crazy here. I wouldn't jump ship for no reason. Okay, I took months to figure this decision out.
Yeah, I remember we had that conversation, and you were not happy, and I totally understand that. And now I'm glad that you were able to move on. You both now have your teams, and now you're both going to go to war September 27th on Friday. I did see that she has made it a statement because, like you said, it makes you feel like that you're talking all this shit. She says Sandy Ryan says the more. You know what? I quoted at her. I'm like, when you talk a lot of BS, Mikaela's going to find out in the ring. And the more she talks, the more she's going to feel it. I never asked for a response, but I want your response to that.
I'm really not talking shit. I'm telling my side of the story of what actually happens.
Yeah.
And for me, she's gone completely silent. When you go completely silent, someone's a little nervous, right? Like, why have you gone completely silent? You don't have to talk shit to talk about the fight. I'm only answering the questions that people are asking me. I'm speaking all facts. And I outside of all this drama, I think Sandy's a good fighter. Again, I don't chase down shitty fighters. I chase down the best, right? So I have some respect for her as a fighter. For me to call her out and make a fight with her, go out of my way to really push a fight with her twice, right? When she said no the first time. So, and it's just, I'm just speaking facts.
It's a great chess match. It's going to be a very technical one because you both are tall. You both are very, very rangy. I know both of you are going to try to go for knockouts. It's crazy that you have double the fights of her. And, you know, it's just like, I know you want the best. You're not going to, like you said, you're not going to chase down whatever fighters. Yeah. But that's why I think it's a good fight because you ladies all have to move up in weight. You guys move down in weight, 147. I think that is, you said you found your power, you found yourself with this. I mean, them hamburgers and them pizzas, they've been looking
it's really not that much. Like I'm still cutting weight, you know, it's like I've really filled out so much, but it's just more comfortable. And, you know, I used to cut so much weight. So I've been in the world where I've cut a lot of weight and I am still cutting, but I've experienced both sides, and I really don't believe in cutting all that weight anymore because you put all that work in, and then when you don't refuel and recover properly, you don't get all the benefits. You don't reap all the rewards of your hard work. So it's counterproductive.
Are you running a lot? Because I remember you used to run a lot, and then you moved up. You're like, I don't have to run as much.
Oh no, I mean, I was on the track when to make 130. I was doing like 10. I would go on the track Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 400s. So like 4 miles of sprints Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for weeks on end. I had to run a lot. So I'm doing more explosive conditioning now, and like I still run every day, but it's like I mean, I would burn myself out running just to make that weight. So I've definitely adjusted a lot of things in my camp. And also just as I've gotten older and more mature, and then being stronger and just learning over the years of not burning myself out in certain ways, really focusing on the boxing. So I've definitely made some changes in this camp, but you know, it just comes with like wisdom and experience. And again, I feel better than ever. So
I'm a big champion for women and the fights that are to be had, because you know, you have Chantel Cameron. That's I know that you guys are friendly and you want to do Lauren Price. I'm a huge fan of. I would love to see you guys. I know Sandy wants to fight. Like you guys, and those are all in the UK. So if that happens in the UK, go. We'll be supporting you regardless. Another fighter I do want to talk about. I'm a huge fan of hers, and I know you are too. I want to cry. Jenny Fuchs, the thumb.
Okay,
She's a badass bitch. Okay.
I mean, her adrenaline was obviously racing so much that she didn't realize that her bone was like bursting out of her thumb. But fortunately, it was only dislocated. She didn't tear. She's gonna get an MRI and like 100% like agree. Like,
wait a minute, what was the thing sticking out? Wasn't that
was her bone
out?
It dislocated and broke through the skin. So I think she's okay. They just had to pop it back and stitch it up. But she needs an MRI to make sure nothing has been torn. But the doctor was like, I don't think anything's torn. So she dodged a bullet again. She's such a bullet dodger. Like she just
wow. You know, and when I saw her on Team Combat League, like I just had to stop everything what I was doing in Houston to just watch her. I'm like, she's so freaking impressive and so skilled. And I don't care what fighter, but it was just like her pedigree of just what she does. And I'm like, why isn't she signed? I'm tweeting this, like, what promoters? What the
it's proof that, you know, women's boxing still has a long way to go.
Yeah.
You know, with the roster that each promoter decides to have, and it'd be a lot easier if she was a man, especially being an Olympian. Especially being an Olympian, you know, it's you would automatically have offers. So but I'm really happy for her because this put her in position. You know, she needed this fight, and it put her in position. And hopefully she heals up quickly since there's no major damage, and she can start calling out the real champions in that division.
Yeah, she's a mandatory. She has a silver title, so I can't wait. Now, you spoke about the Olympics. I loved hearing your voice, listening to you commentate for hours. I know it was like early hours for you. What was that like for you?
That was really cool. So I've only been commentating professional fights, so I was like, okay, I got to go back to the amateurs now. And I thought it would be like a whole lot different, but it really wasn't. It actually went by a whole lot faster. I mean, just 3 rounds back to back to back. And obviously I have that amateur experience, so I know exactly the difference of like what those judges are looking for. It was really frustrating because like there was a lot of fights. It brought me back to like some trauma in my amateur days because I was like, there's so many bad decisions. And it's like what are these judges looking at? And it's such a style, especially the Americans. Like when you're over in Europe and you're competing against all these other European countries, they all have a similar style. They're all like they're chunked up next to each other, all the same type of judging. And then you have the American style, and they go over there and they don't have that enough experience to compete with like what the judges look for and that style, the international style. So it was hard for our American team, which also is very young. You know, you have these Olympians from other countries who are literally in their 3rd Olympics, but here in America,
it's weird to see the pros that I've seen in the ring go fight back in the Olympics. But I understand you want to win a gold medal, you want to win for your country.
They allow it. Why wouldn't you take the opportunity if they allow it? But here in America, we have that rule: amateurs can't compete against pros, and so we don't do it. But it was good, great experience though. So I'm down to do it again. It's fun.
I mean, you know, like Manny Pacquiao wanted to do, but he was a little too old, so they had to say no. Lastly, you know how everyone's starting to do all these segments for content, and I remember when we first interviewed you for our show, I think I did a this or that, and then we did a talk your shit. We've already done a lot of talking your shit with Sandy Ryan, but I have one thing. I've done this with like Brian and Shakur. So would you rather? You ready? Okay, this is my segment. Would you rather?
All right.
Mikaela, would you rather sing like Christina Aguilera or dance like Britney Spears?
Oh my God. Sing like Christina Aguilera.
Okay.
Because I already know how to dance like Britney Spears. I'm just kidding. No.
Okay. So now my follow-up one, since you have, you know what, everyone's watching this, just understand, I always tell Mikaela she is thickalicious. That ass is looking right and tight. So, you know, she understands. Mikaela, would you rather twerk like Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion?
I don't think I am schooled enough on twerking to know the difference. But I've always been a number. I mean, I walked out to like first six of my fights to Cardi B, so I'm gonna say Cardi B.
Okay, Cardi B. All right. Now, this is an interesting one. Who would you rather have in your corner in a song and dance battle? Ryan Garcia rapping and dancing, or Tyson Fury singing his Broadway songs and dancing?
Ryan Garcia, because
Really?
you never know what he's gonna do, which makes for something very entertaining, right?
Okay.
Like if you're trying to do something different and off the, you know, abnormal and try and win something crazy like that, yeah, I feel like Ryan Garcia would pull something out of his ass. He would do something.
And then lastly, would you rather be a spirit animal, an elephant or a fox? An elephant represents strength, loyalty, determination, confidence, honor, pride, dignity, and royalty, or a fox that represents quick, rounded wisdom, luck, cunning, adaptability, and endurance.
Okay, I already know my answer. I would definitely want to be a fox. I wasn't whatever like they stand for. Cool, I'd like to be all those, but I need to move. I need to be able to move and be and adapt. And that's what a fox does. So 100%. I don't think I'd be a little bit too bored as an elephant. I need to be a fox for sure.
It just reminds me of a song. What does the fox say? Is that a song? You're like, okay. Well, I cannot wait. You know, Mikaela, you are a threat to the division. You have made it known. Like you said, whether you've lost, you're 0, it doesn't matter, because I've always said it depends on how you lose, who you lost to. And some people know that you didn't lose certain fights. You're a real threat to the division.
I think that fans, like whether you're rooting for me or not, you know you're gonna get an exciting fight. Like you know I'm gonna give you everything I got. I'm gonna do my absolute best, and I'm gonna always try and make the best fights possible. I'm gonna give you the fights that you want to see. I'm not gonna try and dodge or duck anybody, or you know, I'm just here to fight and do my absolute best every time I step in the ring and build my legacy. So you have to be a fan of that. If you're not a fan of me specifically, you have to be a fan of that if you're a boxing fan. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think your color is what, teal, like the Statue of Liberty for New York. Yeah.
No, it's actually my fight color is lime green, and I'm so over it because I was supposed to fight in June, and I was like, oh, I'll do a lime green summer color. I'll be super tan. And now it's September and I'm over it. I have like a million other colors I want to do, but I already bought too much shit. Like I just online for the past 6 months. Like
oh yeah, because you do your whole thing.
Yeah, so like I'm stuck with lime green, but it'll be cute. I'm still rocking it. I like it.
Do you have someone special walking out? Because it's not a Spice Girl. Is there someone that Cardi B? Are you around by any chance to twerk her out?
No, so I'm actually walking out to a song that my friend wrote for me. So it's just about, you know, he's a rapper, but he's just super skilled. His name is Sincerely Collins. He's done a few songs with my boyfriend Marquette King. So
oh yeah,
eventually I'm gonna have Marquette write me a song.
I was gonna say,
why wouldn't he? He wrote Ginny a song. Ginny's walkout song. Yeah, it's about being a pirate. It's really good. I know. I might steal it. I want to use it. You'd be pissed.
Yeah, she won't be pissed. All right. Well, Mikaela, I appreciate your time. You guys tune in Friday. It's a Friday fight, you guys. Friday, September 27th. Get your tickets. If you can't watch it on ESPN and Sky Sports, if you're in the UK, get it ESPN. Go to the theater at MSG. Go support Xander Zeiss on the card, Bruce Shushu Carrington. And it's going to be a fun night of fights. And we're going to see 2 girls going to punch each other in the face. My favorite thing to do. I mean, I don't know who's going to win, but it's going to be one hell of a fight because there really is some literally bad blood because of what has happened. And you both have animosity for whatever reason, and you guys have every right to duke it out in the ring. So best of luck to you, Mikaela. I appreciate you. And final words to Miss Sandy Bryan.
Just be ready. I know I'm going to be 100% ready, and I'm planning this to be the fight of my life. I'm going to whoop your ass. I'm going to whoop your ass. 100%. I've never felt so confident in this. And I think that even if, you know, whoever you're rooting for, there's going to be moments in that ring. Me and Sandy are both going to be on our front foot. Like you've seen, our styles are going to make for that. So we're going to fucking fight. I got the experience. I got the speed. I got the punch count. I got everything to beat her. So 100% coming out with that belt.
Okay, before I let you go, I need quick predictions. Beterbiev, Bivol.
It's so hard to bet against Beterbiev.
A hard one.
I'll go with Beterbiev.
Joshua versus Dubois.
God, these are so good. These are hard. I like that these answers are hard because that means we're getting fights with like
they're good cards.
Maybe Dubois.
I was just talking about that the other day. I go Dubois is young, hungry. He's that gentle giant. And Anthony's looking better with Ben Davison, but he's chinny. Dubois hits hard. I
Yeah.
don't know.
If I had to put money on someone, maybe Dubois, just because of the little inconsistency with Joshua. You know, he had a good fight last fight, but you know, before that, I don't know. He's got the experience, but you know, just for fun, Dubois.
And then lastly, of course, the Taylor versus Serrano rematch.
Another hard one. Okay. It's so hard to bet against someone like Katie Taylor because she finds a way to win and adjust even after, like, even though I think she lost like to Pursoon, but then she adjusted so well and came back. She lost to Cameron and then adjusted well. Like, it was still close, obviously, but like she adjusted well and found a way to win, you know, and then she's loved. She's loved so much. So even when it is close, it's like people tend to give her the nod. So like money wise, I might put it on. Like if I was really worried about my money, I might put it on Katie Taylor, but then you can't look past Serrano either. She's been so busy. She's got that strength. She almost stopped Katie in that first fight.
I was gonna ask, who won that fight in your eyes?
When I was sitting like close to the ring, I was like, Serrano won, because Katie was moving and all I saw was, sometimes that's what they tell you, to stay in the center of the ring, because that's where you can really see what's going on. When you're like moving against the ropes, it's hard to see and some judges can't see you. And so in where I was sitting, I thought that Serrano had won, but then I rewatched it and I realized that Katie was boxing and moving and Serrano was like this short in a lot of her combinations. She wasn't getting hit as much as I thought she was getting hit. I'm not mad that they gave the decision to Katie.
What does Serrano need to do in order to get that win? And what does Katie need to do to defend her title, to keep that win? Since Serrano came up just a little short, what does she need more to do? And what does Katie need to do to make sure she's in control of the fight?
It's simple. I mean, obviously Serrano needs to go forward and quicker, sooner. I mean, close that space sooner, like with no fear. And Katie's got to box and move the best she's ever boxed and moved. You know, she just can't beat Serrano toe to toe. She doesn't have the defense for it. And when Katie gets on the inside, she squares up. Even though she tries to let her hands go, she gets caught with punches, and you can't get caught from shots on the inside from Serrano. Like, you can't get hit like that. So Katie's got to box and move, and Serrano's got to just hunt her down and just make it clear.
Such a good fight. I mean, such a good fight, but I can't wait to see your fight. You guys tune Mikaela Mayer. Sandy Ryan is putting up the WBO welterweight strap, and Mikaela Mayer is looking to dethrone the queen. All right, guys, tune in. Thank you again, Mikaela Mayer. I'm Cynthia for the Best in Boxing Show, period. See you guys at the fight. Bye, guys.